Welcome to a special Mother's Day episode of Tawana Talks. Today we're celebrating the incredible bond between mothers and daughters. Join me as we embark on the journey of love, laughter, and nostalgia. So grab your tissues and get ready for a heartwarming tribute to all the amazing moms out there. Let's dive in. Hey, happy Mother's Day. This episode is in honor of Mother's Day. I am excited to have my special guest on for today, in honor of Mother's Day for this episode, I should say. So happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there. So most episodes are pre-recorded for season 2, and some episodes are recorded in real time for a specific purpose. And this particular episode is scheduled in real time or recorded in real time, as close to real time as possible for the purpose of honoring moms. But before we get into that, I just wanted to do some honoring to moms and give some updates about Tawana Talks and the whole framework, Empower Her to Thrive and TL Collaborative and all of those things. And so it seems very appropriate that as the shift in my business happened around the shift of time, and at the time being now, being Mother's Day in the month of celebrating and honoring moms, where the shift of my business is focusing on empowering moms. Now, that shift happened while I was trying to figure it all out, right? And it was an enlightening shift for me because I was in a mental space of trying to compartmentalize who I am, focusing on me being the educator, me being the professional, and then me being the mom, and me being three different people, if you will. And I started to realize that that was showing up in various relationships where I wasn't the me here and I wasn't the me there. And so it's just really sitting in the moment. A particular journal that was given to me asked a question that had been asked of me before, but I wasn't in the space to answer it before. It was not, it tugged a little hard. But in this particular time, I was presented to me in the journal at a time that um, I was prepared to answer it or at least dig deeper into it. And that question really was, who are you aside from a mom and what you do? And I had to really sit back and reflect on that for a moment and started to think through it. And I was like, well, I've been a mom for 27 years. Like, yeah, sit on that for a second. I was like, that is definitely more than half my life. And when I became a mom, I didn't even really know who I was because my brain biologically was not even fully developed at that age to have encountered enough experiences and enough wisdom to even know who I was and what I wanted to do. I had not even figured all that out. But then I became mom. I developed this new identity. And so I sat in that for a moment and started thinking, who was I before I was mom? And when I say that, like deeper, like what were the things that became natural to me, the things that I loved doing? And even in that sense of being younger and not having a career and not having experience in life, I truly believe that when God puts something in you, it manifests itself in how you behave as a child and the things that you gravitate towards as a child. And for me, I always loved playing school. Like I was a nerd like that. Like I brought home all of the dittos. That's what we called them in school. And at the end of school year, I wanted all the posters that the teachers were throwing out and all of the teachers' guides and manuals. And I would come home and I would teach my stuffed animals. And when my friends wanted to play, I wanted to play school. And that has just been in my nature to teach and to coach and to give knowledge and or share knowledge with other people so that they can have that piece of information for their betterment. And so that's where the shift came as I realized that is who I am. A part of my identity is being a mom. A part of my identity is teaching in spaces. But who I am as Tawana is a teacher. That is who I've been created to be. But that does not have to be in a classroom or in a school building. I can take on my identity that God has blessed me with to be full and whole and thrive. And now being able to do that in the same space of empowering others who have been blessed to take on that identity frees me because now I can be all of me with all of me and bring in those who are part of that journey to flourish and thrive and not have to have that compartmentalizing and separations of identity. And so that is what Empower Her to Thrive is about empowering moms and how do we take our ideas and our identity and show up in spaces that may have been pushed down because we picked up the identity of being a mom. And we had to show up in that space. But how do we put all of that together so that you can create a lasting mental legacy, a lasting legacy with your children, and that you can show up as all of you? A mom, who you are, your identity is separate from what you do per se. A mom is part of who you are and you do it well, but who you are is so much more than that. And how do you bring all of that together? And so, really excited about that shift and it happening in the month of Mother's Day. And so, I am extremely, extremely excited about my guest today, my guest of honor. And we did pre-record this episode a little bit, but close enough to the time so that we could have it ready. Again, like I mentioned, some of the other episodes are pre-recorded and they were recorded before the shift in Empower Her to Thrive, Empowering Mothers happened. Nonetheless, those episodes are still just impactful and powerful as it still speaks wisdom and speaks into knowledge and will definitely speak into the lives of whomever's listening, whether you're a mom, a dad, not a parent, anything. Those episodes will still have powerful impact because they certainly blessed me, and they're not moms. On all of those episodes, some of them are, and some of them aren't. They will still have the Empower Her to Thrive because that's where the shift happened this month. However, they were pre-recorded. But getting back to my guest, I was fortunate or blessed enough to get my mom on the podcast, and I am so excited. Let me tell you, it was a little bit of a struggle getting her into the digital space. Like she knows all about Facebook and she knows all about getting on Facebook Messenger to talk and video chat. And that sometimes is a struggle. And so just being able to talk her through getting on Zoom and from her phone, and that was a definitely victory that I was excited that she was able to experience that and do that and be able to have that victory for herself that she navigated through that because this was not something that she's used to. She doesn't work in a space where they have to be on Zoom or anything like that. She doesn't operate and socialize in spaces where they have to be on Zoom. And so being able to get her through that. But I was really excited and I am really excited to share with you all some conversations with me and my mom. My mom has been an inspiration in my life. She has certainly been my biggest cheerleader. She has a big heart and a heart of giving. And just for her to open up her vulnerability and transparency to even navigate and get into a space that is not normal for her. I'm very excited and I celebrate her. And I want to say happy Mother's Day to my mother and thank you so much for your strength, for your knowledge, for your encouragement, for even the times that you get on my nerves and get on, but you speak it in love and joy, and then we can always laugh afterwards. Maybe not always so much in the moment, but we definitely bring it back and laugh. And I'm just grateful for God blessing me with you and you being my mother, and I'm just really grateful for your just the things that you have been able to be resilient for and teach me how to be a mom and how to be a strong woman. And I just love you for that. So without further ado, I'm going to shift the podcast over to our episode. And I hope that you all enjoy. And again, to the moms, happy Mother's Day. This is a very, very, very special episode. Happy Mother's Day. And I am so honored and so blessed to have my mother on here today. First of all, this was a success. Mom, this is your first time on Zoom?
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was doing.
But you did it. Look at that. You had to click all the buttons.
Yeah, well, wasn't easy.
But you got there, so it was good. Because in your day, you were a baby boomer. So in your day, y'all didn't have nothing like this.
No, we ain't had nothing like this and nothing to do, all that.
This is, so what is this like for you though, Mon, to be like, have this type of technology? Like, what is that like for you?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
So
somebody's always watching you.
Always, I know, right? So first of all, I just thank you so much for coming on and enduring through that, because I know it was stressful clicking all the buttons and all of the stuff. So just thank you for coming on here. I know we talk every day, and then I got to put an APB out on you, and sometimes you don't be wanting to answer your phone, or I don't know what you be doing.
You be busy. Don't want to answer your phone.
That's mine, please. All right, so I want to play a little trivia game with you, okay? Some of these I don't know the answer to, some I do. So, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What was my favorite, what was my first word as a baby?
Mama.
Mom, was it for real?
No. Dad, you know our kids say dad.
What was my first real word?
Look, that was 50 years ago.
It was not 50. Okay, I don't know it. Okay, so here's another trivia question. What was your first word?
What, as a baby?
Yeah.
Bottle.
Or pacifier. First of all, y'all, my mom got these delinquent dogs. Like, they like bad kids. So we got Teddy and we got Chiquito in there. And
Pablo too. Don't forget your brother.
Pablo. Well, Pablo don't be doing stuff. Pablo is cool, but Chiquito and Teddy. So if y'all see them in the camera and hear them, they like they kids that need to be they need to go to boarding school. Okay, yeah, here's another question for you. What was my favorite thing to do when I was school aged?
Play school.
Good, you got it right. Okay. Another question. What was my favorite cartoon show when I was little, or TV show? If you can remember a TV show or a cartoon I used to like to watch. Huh?
Yeah, I watched, I forgot that one. I did forget that one.
So it was Cosby Show.
Oh, yeah.
Punky Brewster. Right. But when I was younger, it was Punky Brewster. And the cartoon was DuckTales. You probably remember that because that's when I came home. Yeah. And what I was latchkey kids. So, we can't do that nowadays with our kids. What nickname did you used to call me when I was younger?
Oh, you talking about my nickname? Well, I called you Wana, but Wana, but oh, wait a minute. Oh, Lord. What was that nickname? Oh. Duda? No.
No. Almost though.
Lucci?
Who?
the Beanie called me Lucci, but no, that wasn't it, was it? No, I know the name, but I remember the name Lucci, but I'm like, who? That's your nickname. I think somebody called you that, but
No, not Lucci.
Beanie called you Lucci.
Yeah, she did, but I can't remember.
Dooch.
Got all these nicknames. Dooch, that's right,
Who
Dooch.
called me Dooch?
I
Who
did.
came up with that name? That was the name you came up. What was that name from? Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I can't remember Dooch.
Who?
I think Reggie and them was calling you Dooch.
They did call
Yeah,
me Dooch.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
where did the nickname Juanalita come from?
Boo.
Boo. Remember you say
Boo.
Juanalita
Yeah,
Makoto Masoto.
yeah. Boo.
Okay, here's another one. How many extracurricular activities was I involved in outside of school?
Too many.
What were they, Mom? Turn the TV down.
I done lost my remote.
Oh, never mind. What were they, Mom?
You was in Teen Haven. You was in church, Teen Haven. Oh, you didn't do Girl Scouts or campfire. You was in dancing. Yeah, dancing, Teen Haven, church. Oh, you was doing after school band and stuff.
You just posted a picture of one of them.
Oh, cheerleading.
Cheerleading, Hill Butler and West Side.
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right, a couple more. What was the name? Now you got to know this. What was the name of our first pet together?
First who?
Pet.
Lucky.
Lucky. Yeah. Yep, we got lucky as a baby. What was the funniest or most embarrassing thing that I did as a child that you can remember? Now I don't have to answer this because my thing may not be your thing.
When you went to the party and I came down there, you was supposed to be at church and you at the party and then the dog came and got you.
Let me clear this up because I'm a grown up now. I could clear this up.
You
So
were supposed to be at church.
let me tell you what really happened. So, and let me tell the people what really happened. I left a note because I was going to church, but then I changed my mind and I forgot to get the note back. And then you thought that I just lied, but that wasn't the case. I was going to church, but I changed my mind. And then you come walking in that party with them dogs.
That's right. Came right in there. They said, here come Miss Annette.
You walk right in with them dogs.
Miss Cross told me. Miss Cross told me where you was at.
Yeah, because Zalika and them left me and they didn't even tell me they left. Her, Timmy, Zalika, Jamila, they all left me.
She said they down at that party. I said, what party, Miss Cross?
It wasn't that because Timmy, Zalika, and Jamila left. I'm still there. You come walking in.
With the dogs, that's right.
Ma, do you remember, this is the most embarrassing thing I remember. Do you remember you bought that deodorant? So I thought it was deodorant, but it was Lysol.
Yeah, Lysol spray. You tell me I read it. It said deodorant. Yeah, it didn't say spray there. It was Lysol deodorant.
I took it to school. All my friends was you.
Look, everybody using all y'all crazy.
We had some spray deodorant. We was good. Okay, what was my favorite food that you used to make when I was growing up?
Liver. Nah. The favorite food. You ain't looked the next one that you stop. One, I can't remember that one either. Stop.
Right, because it is not one.
Yeah,
that time I knew you was gonna say liver. That time you made that liver for my birthday party. Why would you do that, Mom?
That was good. Liver was good for you.
Listen, I thought you was making a Salisbury steak. You had mashed potatoes, Salisbury steak. First of all, that's a horrible meal for a birthday party. But when I go to dig in, I was like, what? I remember balling it up in the bread. It was like
probably gave it to the dog.
I know. I think I threw it away. Yeah, I think I threw that away. That was crazy. And that's the day we broke my canopy too. Remember?
Oh yeah, you and Keisha and Diamond.
And we had to go walking that canopy pieces all the way up the street to the garbage.
Yeah.
You was mad.
I was pregnant with Peanut. Yeah.
Really? I don't remember that you was pregnant with Peanut.
Yeah, I was
during that time.
pregnant. I was pregnant with Peanut. Cause I was
All right.
about 8.
Here's the last question. What was one place that I used to love to go with you when I was little?
To work.
Oh yeah, I
No.
forgot about that. That was one place too, but what was the other place?
Bingo? No. No, you didn't go to bingo. Well, no, we stayed at Patton now.
All the friends' house, that was good, but it was one particular place that used to take me that I used to love to go.
Yeah, we think we done been everywhere.
College, when you used to take me to Badai,
Oh yeah, when I went to Badai.
and I used to go to school with you.
Get out.
How often did I do that? I can remember. I just remember. I remember the whole classroom setup. How often did I do that?
Well, whenever you didn't have school, you know, I would take you all the time.
That was that.
Wait till the yeah. They
Um.
closed Badai now.
Yeah, I know it's all closed now. So, on one of my podcasts, I talked about. I might have talked about it on several, and I was talking about it today too. How you do that. I call you actually. I think I might have told you this, but if I didn't, now you know. I do call you the Facebook stalker because
That's right.
I said, but I was like, but it's a good thing because she will stalk somebody's page if something is happening in their life, whether it's a birthday, a wedding, a death, or whatever, and then you make them photo albums. And I told people, I
Right.
said, like, mom does this out the kindness of her heart. She will print these pictures out at Walgreens because people don't print pictures anymore. And she goes and buys these photo albums and she fills up the photo albums. And then she remembers she sees them somewhere, and then she'll be like, oh, wait, I got something for you. And then you give them the photo albums. Tell me, mom, first, like, how did that start?
How did it start? Well,
Yeah,
I'm
like, how did
always
this start when you started making the photo albums for people?
well, we did pictures, so then as time when Facebook came out, they posted a lot of pictures, and I said, well, they're not gonna get them printed. And I think I started off with your brother's books. Yeah, started off with like family who posted more pictures, and Michael does a lot of pictures. Then I did you, and you know, and then I just went on down the line. There's pictures, people post pictures under mine. You know, I just like, oh my God, Tracy. You know, I just and people post a lot of pictures. I just did them. You know,
Now, we can't see you. You flipping the camera.
no, because I was getting me some juice. I was thirsty.
So, what was your, like, what you've done? I don't even know countless pictures because you've been doing this for years now. What was
Mhm.
like the most memorable moment, the person who you brought pictures to, like that you can remember, like how they felt? Like what was one of the moments that you can be like, oh yeah, that moment was like a nice moment when they got their photo album?
Well, Tracy was one of them. And Tracy right now is she's in a nursing home with ALS, so she really appreciated all the pictures. And then there was another friend of mine that she says, "Oh my God," and that I would have never thought, you know. But Tracy is one of the first ones that I did a photo book, and she really appreciated it.
And you told me about a time, one time you ran up with somebody at Tops and you ran to the car and you came back in the car, you gave it to them, they started crying. Who was that?
Oh, who was that I gave that photo book to? Was that Dinah? No, not Dinah. Who was I gave? Was it? No, not Tank. I'm trying to think because I gave Tank one too. He was real happy. Oh, I done did so many of them.
Right.
Yeah, I done did so many of them. I still got, you know. Oh, Jimmy Green, it's a good friend of mine. I had took his by his house. Yeah, he called me. His wife called me crying to me. Oh my God, and that. Thank you so much. It was grandkids and all that.
Why do you make the photo albums, mom, for people?
Just so they can, that's just a hobby I like doing with the pictures and they can have a hobby. Trying to get other people, the younger generation to do it because, you know, your pictures is meaningful.
Yeah, that's true. What
And
if
I try.
you had to think back to, like, and I know this probably thinking back in your memory, but you may not have to think back that far because this you've been posting throwbacks for the past 2 weeks now. So if you could think of a favorite picture of all three of your kids, so audience, I got two siblings on my mom's side. My sister, I'm the oldest. then there's my sister Peanut, and then there's my brother Little, who's the youngest. And we're all 8 years apart. If you could think of like a picture from for each of us, like which would be like your favorite picture, like I remember that's one of my favorite pictures of y'all. Not together, like separately.
Oh yeah, I got favorite pictures of y'all separately.
Tell me like one of them, like describe one for each.
Well, yours is one you look like Betty Crocker.
Well,
That little ponytail on your head. I ain't post that one yet. That was the one Treese did your hair. I like that picture.
I can't
Peanut
wait till
had
you post that.
Peanut had the one with spinach. I hate spinach. She's sitting there.
I remember that one.
And then little, I like his pictures in the suit. He got a couple of nice pictures, but one's in his suit, him and Darius with their suits on.
Gotcha. What would be like the most funniest moment that you could remember of your kids? Like when you sit back and you think about something Little did or something Peanut did or I did that you'd be like, some doggone kids. Or a moment that you'd be like, they just like me. They got that from me.
But little, I know one time he was in the car and he didn't want to get out. He ain't getting out the car because he wanted something in the store. And I told him, don't get in here asking me for nothing. Tell him, I ain't getting out. So the police was probably next to me and I knocked on the window. I said, could you tell my son to get out the car because I can't leave him in here. And there was a lady cop. She smashed open the door. She said, you're getting out and you better go and I'm going to walk behind you and you better not act up. When we got back in the car later, he told me, I don't believe you did that. I said, I don't believe you showed your butt while you was talking about what you weren't gonna do. And then Peanut, she went to school one day dressed up all nicely. And Miss Hearns, her kindergarten teacher, said, I don't know what's wrong with she rolling across the floor with a dress on. I said, oh Lord
It
have
was
mercy.
so many stories that would come back from Miss Hearns and Peanut, though. So
Yes,
many.
oh. And then I got to go to high school because you up there debating with the teacher talking about the sun ain't shining. And oh, you used to get on my nerves with that. Just listen to the people up here
Listen,
debating.
I remember that teacher, Miss Unger. Let me tell you the story. I guess she couldn't understand you if your hand was covered your mouth, like she had to read your lips or whatever. And she was everything had to be so particular her way. So that was aggravating to me as a teenager. So I would do little stuff just to stir her on. And I was smart in her class. So, I aced her class. So I felt like she shouldn't be bothering me. So I remember having my books stacked up. I can't see your face. I would have my books stacked up on my desk, and she didn't like you writing on your desk on your books. And I just was like, I don't understand why this is a problem for you. And she kept telling me to take my books down. So I kept explaining to her, like, this is not her desk. And so she gonna ask me to call my parents. I gave her my dad's phone number. And they gonna call my dad, and my dad gonna say, oh, I don't have nothing to do with that. You're gonna have to call her mama. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
this was your opportunity to stick up for me. Why would you give my mother
Right.
number? And then you remember you come up there, the assistant principal, y'all went to school together and all that nonsense. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this ain't how this supposed to go.
Yeah. See, you never know who you know.
Right. What's like something that when you look at us, you like, they got that from me. I can't even complain because that's something they got from me.
Talking, because I always did. I had something to say.
What's
But
something that you got like dinged on in school all the time? Like what was something your teachers would always say about you?
then that didn't know how to stop talking because she always had something to say. I said, no, I can't listen to that. Look at this fool. He up here. Look at him. Look. Okay, you gotta look too. Look, Teddy. Get out. Get out.
I told y'all they delinquent. Mom,
Yeah,
what's something that you and your mom you and Ganny used to always maybe argue about when you was like young, not like a teenager or an adult when you were younger?
let me see what we used to holler about. Well, we didn't really argue. I didn't really argue to a teenager. And then we used to have parties and she'd be putting my friends out and all that. So she'd be coming in, putting them out. I said, Ma, they ain't got to go no way. They getting out of here. I said, oh, Lord have mercy. But we had parties where we ain't have to, we ain't bother nobody. Get down. Now you hit me in my head.
What's your, like, now that we kind of talked about our childhood and stuff, like, what would be your proudest moments as a mom? Like when you sit back and are, really, Chiquito, back up.
Yeah, I
What
know.
is,
He all up here.
what would be
Both
your
of them.
proudest mom moments? I don't think we've ever talked about that.
Well, just raising y'all, and y'all turned out good. I didn't have no problem. Wait a minute, cause see, these the problems. Get out, get out, get out. Yeah, I didn't have no problems. I mean, just having y'all 8 years apart was really great because y'all had time for each other. Took care of your little brother with himself, but I didn't really have no problems with y'all.
What would you say would be like along the way through your parenting? Because you had me when you was 19 and then
Right.
8 years and then 8 years. What would be some things that you would say that you learned as lessons as you grew through being a parent? Like things that you trial and error with me that you did differently with Peanut, that you may have did different with Little, like what were some mom lessons that you felt like you were like, these are some lessons that I want to make sure I pass on to my children for parents, or these are just lessons I learned as a parent that I can pass on to a younger generation?
Oh no, lessons I learned as a parent that could pass on to a younger generation.
Like what?
But like teaching your kid to have respect and don't hang out with your kid and then expect them to respect these kids now. They some of the younger parents that hanging out with them and then they want them to respect them and that ain't gonna work.
Who
It's a
were some
lot of
people like in your life that like some older people who have made like helped you or worked with you or empowered you in your teenage years or your young parenting years, and then some, yeah, just start there. Who were like some people that you kind of looked up
I
to and
always, I
also
always hung out, I always hung out with older people, so I learned. There was my godmother Betty, there was Janice, she's still here. I always hung around Scylla, I always hung around older people, so
Miss
I had
Clowers?
to, yeah, Mama Cloud, you know. So I always hung around older people and I always helped older people, so I respect them.
Hmm. How important was it for you to have like a community of friends? Like we had Pat, we had Beanie, we had Marsha, we had Genevieve. It was
Well,
all
it takes a,
I like. People laugh because I'm always like, I got a lot of sisters. They like, how? I'm like, because I got a lot of godmothers. They like, how? I'm like, because my mom kept a community of friends. Like it was a bunch of us. How important was that for you?
very important because when we was growing up, it took a village. Took a village to raise a child, and that's how we all was. Nowadays, you can't even look at people's kids wrong. So it took a village, and we all raised each other's kids.
Yeah, and I don't remember missing a beat with any of that, like being able to be with Beanie or being with Genevieve or being with Pat and my god sisters and Marsha. Like
And Josie, me and
those,
Josie, and
yeah.
so we just took turns in helping them raise the kids. If somebody had something to do, it was nothing for us to watch your kid and see you when you get back. We worked and we just worked each other's schedule out, so we always had a babysitter.
And the good thing about it, I think, is nobody ever was uh, like, no, I'm not watching your kids, or like, no, well, you don't never have your kids. Like nobody was ever like that. It was always like, for me, I remember it was just a community. Like I don't remember any type of things. Like I remember being with everybody.
Right. Well, that's how it was.
But
We
I
just
also like, I don't, even with being with everybody, it's not like I ever felt like I was never with you. Like I was with everybody and you.
right. 'Cause that's how it was. We didn't, if we had something to do, we just, hey, can you watch it for a minute while I do this? Or somebody else need the babysitter, we would be all together because we was all hanging out. So kids would be right there with us.
What advice would you give to like moms today on how to build that type of community? Because I think now, like like my situation and things like that, where it's just like sometimes we feel like we're a burden to somebody, or we feel um like we got to do this because we're gonna look unfit if we're not the ones doing it. Like, what advice would you give to moms my age or other moms that may be listening to this?
Well, I mean, like I said, it takes a village, you know. So if you get a group of friends and y'all just get together and work out different things of how your kid is, no one's kid is better than another. So, you know, they just got to get the kids to hang out and be able to get along. And parents don't, just because your child say they don't want to go over to Tawana, or they don't want to go here. You're the parent. They're not the parent. You put them where you place them to be safe. And that's how that goes. We didn't give our kids no option. You going over so and so's house till I get back. And that was the bottom line, you know, and so can chastise you. When we was growing up, you get in trouble, you got in trouble all the way home because everybody there gonna get on you before you get home. You
Right.
know, and these parents now, you can't say nothing to these kids. And that's sad, you know, but it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say is I was saying something to somebody the other day. Um, somebody asked a question. They put the question like in a chat that I'm in and was like, what is a piece of advice that you would give to your younger self if you were able to talk to your younger self now? And I thought about that for a second. And one of the things I said is, if I can give advice to my younger self, I would tell my younger self that my mom is not against me. Like, she is my biggest cheerleader. She's for me. And although I may not like the things that she's wanting me to do because I don't know yet better, I would tell myself, understand that your mom is your biggest cheerleader. And so I wanted to say that to you, like, you've always been my biggest cheerleader. You've always been in my corner. You've always supported in every way that you could. And I just love you, and I'm happy for that, and I'm happy to have you as a mom. And I was like, my mom has the biggest heart. Like, you are, your love language is giving. Like, you send Tyler boxes every month, and I get photo albums, and we talk and we laugh, and you tell me about these crazy dogs, and I know as an adult how much you were there in my corner even as a child, and just knowing that if other people are listening to this and we're thinking about our moms, like, I try to tell my kids, like, I'm your biggest supporter. So anything I say or do is never to hurt or harm you. You may not like it. This be the best decision that I have and I can make right now. But later on, it may have been a different decision. But people just need to hear and understand that moms do the best they can with the resources that they have in that moment. When time goes on, other resources may come available, but you can't judge your mom based on the resources you have now on the decisions they made then. And so that's why I just want to say thank you. I know that we didn't have everything, but my mom is literally, and I tell people this, like, my mom is Miss Mary Mac. She can make $1 out of 15 cents. If you go in, we can go into the most expensive store and you guarantee a net read is going to be at the discount, and she's going to find the most expensive thing probably for 15 cents because she probably done talked them down from $50 to 15 cents and then got it. So I really appreciate your support. I appreciate your thriftiness, your ability to find sales and deals, and just the amount of love and support that you give to me, my children, my siblings, and their children, and then also all of the other people that you come in contact with, and even my god siblings that you just nurtured and cared throughout the years, Mom. So I just want to say that I appreciate you. I love you. Happy Mother's Day. And I'm just proud to be your daughter and that God chose you to be my mom.
Well, thank you. And I love you too. Happy Mother's Day.